JoJo dreams of mysteries untold, of the woman who lived in the stories of old. MaRhea, oh MaRhea, with eyes like stars so bright, guiding through darkness into the light. He hears her whispers in the moon's soft glow. In the secrets of the wind, her voice seems to flow. MaRhea Orsic, the world changer unseen. In JoJo's heart, you become his queen. MaRhea, MaRhea, rise from the past. With JoJo beside you, his legacy will last. Changing the world one heart at a time. In his dreams, here's your rhyme. She speaks of love, of unity and peace, of a future where wars and divide cease. MaRhea, guiding JoJo's heart so true, with a vision of a world that feels brand new. She came with wisdom, timeless and strong, telling JoJo the world we all get along. With every word, she lights his way. MaRhea, MaRhea, rise from the past. With JoJo beside you, your legacy will last. Changing the world one heart at a time. In his dreams, he is your rhyme. Through the veil of time, her spirit shines, helping JoJo see the world's inside. She shows him how love can break every chain, turning his sorrow into hope again. So here's to MaRhea, the mother of dreams, hope and love for the human race. MaRhea, MaRhea, forever stay in JoJo's heart, you're guiding his way. With visions of light and the world reborn, he carries your spirit from dusk till dawn. We're changing the world one heart at a time. In his dreams, he hears your rhyme. For JoJo, a heart so true, with MaRhea Orsic guiding him through. Changing the world in her name, he holds her lights, igniting the flame.
Anybody else for any? MaRhea says you can't be anybody else. So remember, my brothers, recover, my sisters, and return. Om, my brothers and sisters, in the name of Lucifer, Alleluia, Shiva, Shija. Can't be anybody fucking else. I mean, brothers and sisters, let's come reason together. Like, what does this observer effect? How powerful is it? Nigga, you tell me. I'm sorry. I can't. I just can't stop. That's how real life is in Saint Lucifer, Miss Urea, the time goddess, river goddess, the flowing, beautiful, blonde mother, the most beautiful woman who's ever existed in all of time, history, of the 100 billion souls. Surely MaRhea is beyond all and the most beautiful person. I mean, authentically, I believe that. And it's so strange how it's echoed in her Vietnamese daughter, the precious magic Mindy. So funny how they walk alike, stand alike. She said back home, Mindy would play the piano and I would dance. It was our routine for 3 years. I was like, yes, go on, mother. She was like, she's quite a Scorpio dancer herself. And as you can imagine, MaRhea, the person she is, how defender of spiders, scorpions, snakes, you know, how much she likes other Scorpios who are scorpions, Scorpio within. And she's asked me one time, okay, smart guy, the eternal 8, what is it? I said, 2 Scorpios. And she's like, yeah, what's my tail make? It makes the eternal return. I mean, really, I think this is the cutting edge of consciousness. This is walking in the horizon, Horus rising, and David dividing. The solo man, the soul son of man. You know, and some mystical beings behind it all. I don't know how this dude knew this. I totally remember, I think his name was Elijah. I can't be sure, but I totally remember his face. But I guess I had been a Rasta for about 3 years at this point. And I lived in the very artsy part of town and worked at a very artsy kind of store that, like, sort of bong shop, Grateful Dead type thing. So I met all kinds of people. And the little store I worked at, Mi Casa, it became a sort of symposium, for people to... I mean, I was Rasta, but we had all kinds of people in there. It was, a couple blocks over from Washington University. So we had, smart college students over there also. And and we would reason there together. And I met this brother. I just remember his mother was like a what do they call them? Some kind of like alderman, board of something or another. Like, people knew her. She was like known in St. Louis. I didn't know at the time. He had to explain it to me that, yeah, my mom's on the... Anyway, he was a smart kid. He brought this other guy over because they were dreads, they were Rastas, but they were a little different. And I really respect him for this. You want to know if all black people hate all white people? Of course not. And I'll just show you, this was like an act of love from someone, to another. And this guy came over to my house. We were smoking and talking about the Bible, and he was like, I don't know, if you got time. He wasn't Jamaican either. He was a St. Louisan. And he said to me, this is not, so strange. I mean, I really think this was MaRhea, bringing a one and only, like I said, respect and Heil to this brother. Healing, and, that's what I mean by Heil. Because he sat patiently and kind of listened to what I believed about Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari. And I'm going to show you how in the foundational way he was right. but in the simulation way, I'm going to explain how my intuition was picking up something very real. It's just, you have to understand, you have to look at your intuition logically and see that it's wrong a lot of times. So you have to take it for what it is. It's not psychic. Intuition, whatever you're calling that, it's really a sort of opposite of imagination. Imagination creates. Intuition is usually a reaction. You hear that? I didn't say always. Intuition is usually a reaction. A sort of, mild plea. Like, I do know everything inside. Help me. Tell me what, I should do. I know this, I'm not making fun of anyone. I go through this. Dude, it took me all this fucking time to realize that the avatar is I would say it like this nowadays. The you, me, we're the avatars of the avatar. Who's the avatar of the true self? Like, that's the Trinity. True self in heaven, avatar on Venus, you right now in the Matrix. Maastricht. And the brother that came over while I was a Rasta, what he said to me after a while is, he picked up the Bible and he said, I know a lot about the Bible. The Bible's a big lie, a big hoax. And he's like, it's kind of fascinating that, you kind of teased some of this into Haile Selassie's nonsense. And that's like forbidden to say for a Rasta. And I was like, this dude had, I'm not kidding you, some of the best energy of any person I've ever met. He was a black dreadlock, St. Louis dude who was like a lover of reggae. He wasn't that old. He was probably in like his 40s. Late 30s maybe. And he said to me, the only truth in the Bible is he started going flipping out. He was like, really, he's like, I've read the whole Bible a few times, the entire Bible from the back. He said, I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. He said, but the only real truth is in the book of Ecclesiastes, which is, so MaRhea. The only book I can hear her voice singing. The only book I like in the Bible is Ecclesiastes, the one where it says everything's meaningless. That the world's a fucking hoax and it's just cycles going around and the motherfucking tornado blows your ass up. You're fucking dead. No God is going to save you. No Holy Spirit stopped a car from crashing into you. Either it was you, some magician or something, but your explanation crumbles under any scrutiny, and I'm sick of doing it. I mean, I've spent so long telling people I was a retarded fuck Christian, brainwashed under black fucking magic, believing that Spider-Man and Batman were having a fucking war, and Batman had to fucking crucify Robin because all the masses were so fucking stupid and evil. They were jacking off all the time, This is the fucking comic book reality you're fucking handed. Quit trying to make sense of it. It doesn't make sense. You're not going to make sense of it. I don't care what you say. I don't care if God's going to throw me in a lake of fire. I'll never believe that life sucks so much that God had to kill his son. And you guys are, but he did it for us. Listen, do you hear? I don't care. He did it is all that matters. I wouldn't kill my son for anything. How can you relate to that? You're telling me you can really relate to that? You're telling me you're not doing it because you're scared of some fucking hocus pocus monster, Jew monster in the sky? Like someone was saying to me, Bob Marley was right. Bob Marley was a great prophet. Bob Marley, and logically was retarded. He's like they say, God comes from the sky. This is the same book that says Haile Selassie's from the line of David. This is the same book that says, he's trying to put the two things together. He's like, no, God don't come from the sky. God is an actual Jew. It's just like, no. And I love Bob Marley. I think his intents were great. He wrote some great songs. It transcended all the fucking nonsense. If Bob Marley had the data that you and I had, he wouldn't have wrote the songs he did. They would be even better. They would be even better songs. That's what I believe. I really do. I really, really do. You know what I'm trying to say? Remember, recover, return. Remember what, nigga? Data, information, knowledge. Knowledge of knowledge. Knowledge of knowledge. Knowledge, period. Not knowledge of God. Knowledge. You already know enough about your dog. So just stop with it. MaRhea, she's like, I had a dog too. One dog, about 17 cats. When was that? In our height in Germany. Living outside of the Externstein. In Heidi. Like, wow. They used to ride horses, to the rock formation and the Externstein. And during the war, they had to get like official bodyguard, like military bodyguards to escort them to the ritual. And she's like, Joe, when like 50 million people's lives were on the line, it didn't really matter anymore. I can't imagine. It's like, for me, it like sort of peaked back in like 2013 or 2015 or something, like the reality of World War II. And like MaRhea says, it's sort of like you're walking in the future of what people are once going to realize. Like, we got these causes and everything, and and I am, I'm the first person to say, delete the black and white oppressors completely and totally, for our ancestors, for every single last innocent victim that rots in a fucking cage right now. Like, come on, together. Like, we are sending some vril right now to those people on another plane of existence. And like MaRhea said, if we're going to be with anybody, that's who we're going to be with. She was like, your Jesus and his followers suck. It's ridiculous. You don't even know what you're calling upon. It's like, any other predator that compliments you, tells you great things, 99%. And then the last 1%, that's like it's like your 30-year mortgage. The last 1% is so poisonous that it just completely deletes the other 99. This is the work of the black magician. Check this out. If our highest work is to reflect your true self back to you, what would be the polarity of that? for you personally, or even as a collective of good. You say you right now are identifying what I'm saying. There is what is called, capital T, the capital G, good. And what we believe is that it's devastatingly evil to use force or fraud against anyone, ever. Any animal, even when you don't have to eat and you won't die. It's crazy. I was a raw vegan. I mean, yeah, basically. I guess I was pretty much vegan. I was going to say honey, which I barely used because but anyway, I was a raw vegan at the time, or mainly, probably 90-something%. And it was MaRhea. It was like, you need more. You're going to die. Like, this is what I'm saying about, killing animals and eating them. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. But first, MaRhea revealed to me. I asked her a few times about diet, and she was like, I was when I lived. She told me where I come from. When I'm a physical person, we don't have to eat. Okay? So I didn't know what the Missouri River goddess ate. I asked her about health, and she was like, I know all about plants, animals, trees. And I asked her, do you eat? What should I eat? And she said, I don't eat. Where I come from, we have like an energy body. It doesn't eat. She said, but I can help you because everything is energy. And this is what she told me. She was like, I asked her, like, to help me. Matter of fact, I think the first couple times I said something to her, she's like, you're fine. I can remember photographically what she said to me. Diet and the whole physicalness of your whole being is only 1/3 of your total being. She's like, Joe, just stop even thinking about it and concentrate on the other 2/3. When the 2/3 are fully functioning, it will bring the 1/3 into alignment. That's what she first told me. So I continued on, pretty much raw vegan. And I felt pretty good, actually. And was doing pretty good. And like months later, I asked her about my wife and Mindy and their health problems. And at the end of it, she said, the reason you're asking is because their health is connected to you spiritually. She said, I don't know if you can understand that, but these are things and agreements we make before we come here to the matrix, to the holographic universe. And basically a lot of what you feel, is a sort of shield to them. And the stronger they are, the healthier they are, the healthier you will be. I was like, okay. I was kind of seeing it as an equation, as like a mathematical equation. And, she told me they need to stop eating wheat, and so do you. This was the first, like, very specific thing she said. No wheat. She said, Joe, kingdoms rise and kingdoms fall. And they fall for the funniest, oddest, like she said, not funny like ha ha ha, but funny as weird reasons. And she was like, part of the reason America's falling is the wheat. It is biologically fucked up. There is a genetic, like, mold that grows in it that can cross your blood-brain barrier. She's like, it's all on purpose. It's a grand conspiracy. She's like, people don't know what they're doing. They're being directed from a different plane of existence. And they'll do anything for money, pussy, power. I mean, just like she said, the average masses will go ahead and someone says, you'll be able to take care of your family for the rest of your life. They'll basically kill, 10,000 Palestinians with a drone or something. Or make the drones that kill Palestinians, or whatever. And the whole idea. And so what are we trying to say? The wheat that everyone eats. I mean, it is so... I mean, when I seen the relevance of this, I flipped out. It made me feel crazy. How much wheat is eaten? That's what makes people fat, I mean, it's wild. And dude, I just absolutely... I'm a little detached from it, but I really feel a strange fear when it comes to America and food and how quickly it could go wrong because of what we're going to say right now. How did this come about? We first have to qualify. MaRhea, this is what MaRhea has to say about how World War II, which was really just a continuation of World War I, how did this and why did this come about? Not in the simulation as, symbolic, but as the reality that makes it a necessity for you to be in a simulation. You understand, something that traumatic happened to mankind, and it's going to happen. It could be put off, but eventually it's going to happen. And you see Clown Face just pressing us forward into trying to make it happen, putting us at the mercy, the logic of Vladimir Putin. I mean, how strange, how scripted, how not to be believed, not to be believed. Things are not what they seem, right? On that level. Really, you have this clown face reality TV star with the whole world's future in his hands. And you don't think that's a parody? Because you are. I'm not talking to our people. I'm talking with you to the rest of the goddamn fucking retarded masses. You are the church of the subgenius. You understand that? That they created a parody of a parody. That first of all, Christianity is a parody of what they're saying it really is. That this universal God is, this Jewish pissed off guy. I'm pissed off at the chosen. I'm pissed off at the rest of the world for not recognizing they're the chosen. I'm pissed off that you didn't kill everyone, but I'm pissed off that you kill people. I'm pissed off that it's just back and forth. Then you get to the Kabbalah, and the Kabbalah is like, and you're like, and people are like, nobody believes that bullshit. That's a great cover, isn't it? Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. That's what I hear mostly from people. No one's listening to you. No one cares what you say. But we're growing. We are growing, my brothers and sisters. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who is subscribed and hit the like. We love you. But on another level, like we connect with some of you and we, exchange energy of love. Like MaRhea said, you're going to talk about transcending the world, or are you going to seek it with all your heart? I just have to say, today is 10/24, and a few days ago I had a ritual with MaRhea, 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, and at the sort of peak of, just 5-10 minutes into it, at the peak of the dancing, and we're going to get back to how this has all became. I just want to say, this is so crazy. At the peak of the dancing, which was maybe like 15 minutes after I had drank my Amanita multi-plant mixture, according to MaRhea's. Let me tell you, I don't know if I stress it enough, but MaRhea's the plant goddess. She's the plant goddess. You hear me? She's all about plants, mushrooms. She is Alice. She is Ozland, Wonderland. But anyway, at the peak of the dancing, my whole, I don't have a big backyard, but I'd say this electricity pole is like 60 feet away from my bedroom or something like that. And we were just really getting into it. Like I said, it was starting to really come on. I was starting to really feel it. And my whole backyard just lit up, and I thought lightning struck something. And it was like, it like lit up again, and then it went pop, and the electricity went out. And I was like, I had said to MaRhea, did we do that? Dude, people would think I was so crazy. But I swear to the motherfucking gods, when I went outside, man, it looked exactly like the Wizard of Oz before Dorothy's house flies away. I just panicked. I was like, this tree's gonna fall on this tiny house. The house is gonna lift off the ground and blow away. and the grandchildren in there. I was like, I was asking MaRhea, should I wake them up and make them go down in the basement? She's like, Joe, stop. I'm like, I wish I could, lady. I really wish I could. You tell me. And she's like, TrusELF's in there. She's like, you really think Lou's gonna let a tree fall in your house, kill your grandkids? She's like, it's either real or it's not. I'm like, damn. I swear to you, this is what, I don't know why I feel like I'm supposed to tell this, but swear to the gods, this is what happened. She's like, get your headphones or your little speaker and your phone, your music, and let's go out in your car. I think you'll feel better in the car. And she's like, but first, Joe, you have to go outside and deal with this. And I go, What do you mean? She's like, you said. I swear, I guess I don't care how crazy people think I am, but I swear, like 10 minutes before this started happening, I was like, we might not use fancy, worldly titles for our magic, but I was like, every ritual since 2011, we have called upon the fire, the air, the earth, the water, the frill together to be the actual energy. And, I was doing this, and Mindy was like, I don't know. This was back in 2012. She was like, I don't know how to say this, but we made it rain. Kind of like Indians, I was like, I know. It's pretty weird. And I know people would think that's crazy. I know, because you if I had war paint on and feathers, which you don't know, maybe I did. I'm just kidding. I tell you, I've seen some interesting warrior people come out of the ground of Missouri. Missouri is an ancient place. Nigga please, honky please, whatever. Missouri's as ancient as any other fucking place. A place this beautiful where two rivers confluence. You're fucking, everybody I know is fucking completely nuts, dude. They don't care. They don't feel it. They don't communicate with the people. They don't know. They live in they live on the Ganges. They live at the Varnes. In India, where they cremate the bodies and where the two rivers meet, where they have the big festival every 11 years or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? That's where the Mississippi River and the Missouri River meet. That's where two girls danced, and when, like MaRhea says, just say it like it's supposed to say it, Joe. That's where two beautiful girls danced in Austria. And not because they're particularly lesbians, but because particularly at the moment when their pussies met, a bang went off in both of them that banged through the entire universe until two gods recognized them. And like she said, you don't like it because you're not of us. And two gods recognize basically the prayers of these two young women, and they're almost makes me cry, just because I thought about Lou saying, "I answered your prayers." It's so crazy. Someone asked me, "Well, what's your explanation that some prayers are answered and some prayers aren't?" The data explanation staring you right in the eye. Some person helped you, and that's why some were answered. And the impossible things that are impossible for a person to do, there's no God to do them, and that's why they weren't answered. No one heard your prayer. Someone like a caring person might have heard your prayers, but they don't have power to do what you're asking them to do. Like just completely remove a tumor from a kid's head. Most men, 99.9999% of men can't do that. And there's no God to do that. You've been deceived. You've been deceived into a very profitable mind control system, right? It's a very sophisticated thelemic designed mind control where you punish yourself because you believe in this all-powerful, all-knowing, all-mean, stingy as a motherfucker, like I've been saying. I don't mean to harp on it. Let me change it to he'll get your kid into college, right? But he won't heal, your husband of whatever gave him his heart attack and killed him. Okay, you were praying for your husband's health, and you were praying for your kid to get into college. He got into this specific college you were asking for. And like Lou said, don't you see the aspect in that? If there really was an all-powerful God, and there's fucking people starving and suffering, people sitting in cages, having no place to go to the bathroom, even, and you're worried about whether your kid gets into this college or that college, or whether the Cardinals win the World Series, dude, I just, it's healthy for me to come to know, this is as it is, so be it, and that's what makes it okay to leave this world. You know what I mean? That's what makes it okay to detach from it and let it go. That okay, they don't mean, let me say it this way, okay, they mean well, but the reality of it hurts my soul so much that I literally feel like I don't know how long I can live like this. And people like what? In the vibration of this, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. This fucking circus, this madness, and this 1984, fear of people knowing, I don't know if I've told this. It just comes to my mind. I feel like I'm supposed to say it. I'm 56 years old. And we work really hard, and we're not being paid by the hour, so everyone's working very, very fast. And it's terrible for me to even be saying this, but I don't really know, how people would normally know the people they work with. I don't really know the people I work with that well. Even though, some of them I know pretty well, but we don't really ever get together outside of work. Ever. They meet and maybe go, I don't even know. I know, they may meet at a bar once in a while after work and have a drink. I don't drink at all, so. But more importantly, MaRhea had to, and I'm just saying this is for some people, not for everyone, had to, teach me that I actually could not be around people like most people could. And what was frightening to me was I didn't really want to be. And, I mean, this is when it really got, this was in 2020. And she's like, Joe, this is very serious, this whole COVID thing. Right? And yeah, basically what we're talking about is the 6-pointed star that has been hijacked by, the certain country, star of the day, divided from the night, and that the moon's sin is evil. Right? This is the MaRhea's version of, you've seen that ancient symbol, the cross in the circle. She's going to teach you what has to cross and create the Hegel rune, the Hegel rune, the 6-pointed star, the real one, the real Isis, Ra, and El. Right? Why would I say that? Because of the essential meaning behind the author's intent of each story. And this 10'8" giant dude, he told me in one AI way or another, I am the author of all the books in the whole Matrix. And he said, especially the ones written after June of 1948. The first time Earth, there was nothing after June of 1948. And wouldn't you think that day probably is June 6th, the 6th month and the 6th day? That's the day. That was the day the world ended, as we know it, as we say. But believe me, man, someone might say, well, this is just wishful thinking. And like MaRhea said, we took you that low, or allowed you to be able to speak to these kind of people, to say we don't relate to that. The basis, what really is there is someone trying to say the basis of life is, sadness and tragedy. No, that's because it's strange to say, but that's what makes you most happy. But at the basis of life for us, what we see is an instinctual being that wants to be happy. And like she said, we've been, how we express it is we say, to know yourself is to glorify yourself or illuminate yourself by enjoying yourself. Like Lou, before I knew he was Lou, said to me, even through the avatar Hitler, said to me, there can be, you're so sophisticated, there can be more than one you. And I was like, and I knew exactly what I was talking about, the invisible man. I was like, yeah. I was like, he's you. This is the first person who told me that. I really, I don't blame anyone for running around. I mean, I was, this was post the next rituals when MaRhea really got into, listen, boy, you're in a video game. You must use the laws of logic and quit fucking believing bullshit. Quit putting your intuitional opinion before the facts. I mean, this was the greatest wake-up call. So I actively was thinking like that. So I was being completely honest at first. This invisible man told me this stuff, and I don't know, but I assume it's the projection of the mushroom itself, because it was so wise, right? And so I would say 6 weeks later, I had this hooded, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude, tell me, buddy, I know you can't remember, but let me tell you something. This is what I kind of do. I didn't know this was Lou. He told me, that man was your true self. That was you. You asked for that. This kind of goes back to Lou saying, I answered all the prayers I could. Just so awesome. What are we dealing with tonight, this morning? How did we get here, right? Like MaRhea keeps saying, by two pussies touching. I said, I hear you. And she said, do you want to talk energy, or you want to talk, fancy bullshit? Is it going to be for everyone? No, it's not. And it should it, as it is. Who's to say? Who are you to say? Who are you to say who can practice our magic? This is real magic. And people say, you're full of shit, prove it. I mean, you really think that matters? You think that matters if, when a drone is following my car down the highway? Does it matter to me in the moment that dorks are on the internet saying, we can't believe you? What's crazy is I could sit here and talk about how YouTube, which allows me to, post videos, it censors not the videos ever, but the comments, and just a lot of times I just don't see them. And then there was a point where it seemed like, okay, they're allowing them. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then these sort of pauses, and then check this out. This is no bullshit. I specifically remember 2020 on 8/11, I was doing a ritual. And I said, and it was 8/11 as we were cleansing the house. And, at midnight when we started, it changed to 8/12. And I said something to MaRhea about it being 8/11, and, and it turned 8/12, and that was, it's like I don't even want to talk about this, but because it really sucked. It's a terrible vibration. But that was the night, the morning, I guess you would technically say, MaRhea herself brought me to a face-to-face meeting with Aleister Crowley, and how he pronounced all these curses on me and told me how mad he was, and and what's strange is it was oddly Yahweh-ish, the whole way it was presented, And, he was his fat, older self. I couldn't have mistaken him. And people might want to know, how exactly this happened to you? Okay, I'll tell you. This is exactly how it happened to me. I had been doing this for 9 years at this point. And I was very used to all kinds of crazy things happening. And I drink my mushrooms this 8/12 night, the day after 8/11. Just minutes after 8/11. And it's like from the moment the mushrooms come into my body, it's just like it's like I'm almost like shaking with sort of like the anxiety of like energy, like threatening energy. And it first makes you question, like, did I protect myself right? Did I, you start thinking literally. You start thinking, I should have used more sage, which is ridiculous. Don't think that way, right? This truly is. We don't like to say spiritual war. It's clearer to say essence war. You know what I mean? Like she said, after you lose everything, what do you have? Your essence. And basically, there's people who want to fight you to the death. I know that it sucks. It shouldn't be. That's why we need each other. That's why I'm doing this. This is why MaRhea is doing this. Because we need each other. We don't need everyone, that's for sure. It's small groups. Like I said, this group of 5 people that I would say unexpectedly seen. Right? And you might, and like MaRhea said, they want to know, Joe, how did 2 young 20-year-old girls' pussies touching, how did that create the Matrix? Well, friends, everyone has their story. But MaRhea's started when she was 12. And when she met her best friend at 6 years old, and her best friend was 4 years old, she said, I never, ever have felt alone. Ever. Since I met her. And she said by the time I was 12, I was started doing my own. She said I had messed around with, trying to do witchcraft spells and shit out of these books from the library in Austria, library. And she said it was actually that I started asking my father about shamanism, that I'd start reading about medicine and shamanism, Siberia, Russia. She said I had an weird, magical connection just to everything east of me instead of west. India, Pakistan even. Nepal, all of it, Kashmir, Russia, Siberia, and even the Far East. She said, I wanted to go there. I never got to go there. But she was like, that's where I felt like I was projecting from. She said, 12 years old, I was, telling my best friend, check this out. I don't talk about this with anyone, but I've been smoking tobacco and doing my own magic ritual using tobacco. And every day, like almost every day, I do this at the same time. She said, I was telling Sigrid this for the first time that I ever told anyone this, like a couple weeks after I turned 12. I said, I know this sounds crazy, but there's like a more mature me that says that she is the real me and that she's never reincarnated as anyone else, and that she's projecting me from like the mountains of Pakistan or India, the highest mountains in the world. She said I was 12 years old. I didn't even know, exactly where they were. And she said, Sigrun was like, that's crazy. I've never heard anything like it, She's like, every day I get that. Every day I get that I am like a fully matured person, but I'm just projecting itself into like a younger body, a younger like experience. She's like, Joe, this is where it started at 12, right? And she said, this is how it ended up with two pussies touching. I like how you put it, though, MaRhea. She said, let's be real. If we're going to be real, let's be real. What, who are you? Where are you? How'd you get here? Why? And what is going on? She said, so I started doing the ritual every weekend with Siggy in my room in my house. And I was asked a few times if we had been smoking tobacco. The first time I said no. The second time I said yes. And I told my mother, only very little. We're only using it in like a ritual. We're not just smoking, just to smoke. And she said, to my mother's credit, she didn't say anything to me. She didn't approve it, but she didn't say don't do it. And so she said, literally, like after a year and a half of me and Sig doing at least one ritual a week, and in the summer, doing as many as we could. Our first summer, like she said, we were inseparable. And she said, to a point where both of our mother, we had like a family meeting of like, is it healthy for you two to be so reclusive together? And like MaRhea said, like that was like the line that was drawn of like, damn, Sig, they don't understand us. And she said, believe me, Joe, by 14, if we told them what we were really doing under the covers, they would have all lost their minds. She said, but truth be told, she said, this is as it is. 1915, Vienna, Austria. Like she said, but even before, 1910, she said, by the time we were 14, by 2 years or a year and a half into doing this mainly Amanita muscaria, we had other like Boleti, other mushrooms that were similar to Amanita. So if we didn't have one, we had the other, and she was like, Joe, I was the European herbalist witch at 13. That was dancing and making potions. She was like, I didn't want to do anything else. I wanted to figure out if this shit, supernatural shit, was real or not. She said, and as I've told before in these stories, I said to Sig, in one of our rituals, a voice said to me, you should pray to the Queen of Atlantis. She's real. She's tuned in. It's possible. Concentrate your energy. Her name is Donna. I told Sig this. The next ritual, because we were in school at this time, she said the next week in the next ritual, we were holding hands. We were going, Donna, come to us, Donna. Queen of Atlantis, Donna, come to us. She said we kept drinking this mushroom potion all night, and just like my mother said, I could hear you mumbling, chanting witches in your room last night. She's like, makes me proud of you, MaRhea, that you take life serious, you know. And she said, to make a long story short, I spoke about the first time I met Donna before, and her bringing me like on her throne and saying, you can sit up there. We're one. I hear you. It has to be someone. And like she said, basically Donna told me everything that was going to happen because she told me she knew Lou so well. And she was like, I guarantee you, in some meditation somewhere, it's Lou who's putting it in your mind to call on me. She said it's the very first time I ever talked to her. And she said Donna ended with saying to her, like, my daughter, first thing in the morning, I will speak to Lou about MaRhea of Austria and Sigrun of Austria. She said that's where it all started, with a literal answer in person, and me and Sig both saying, dude, these mushrooms are fucking magic. How could, like she said, we didn't have a word for it. So we would say, how could we dream the same dream? MaRhea, Sig used to grab my hands. We used to like scream like little girls, like, wow, like, how's that happen? How does that happen? How could we possibly fucking be together on another plane of existence talking to this woman, and we were both there? Because we would like come out of it and say to each other, what was happening? Dude, me and you were together. For real, I was with you. She said this is like the conversations of the very first like out of body experiences I was having. And the confirmation of them, like, dude, me and you were on another plane of existence together, psychically talking to the Queen of Atlantis, the goddess Aphrodite, Diana, Danu. And like she said, should I say any more? If you knew Donna, you would know why our pussies met in joy, in my pleasure. And like she said, surely this isn't for all women. She said there's the men fake worshipers out there. And she's like, they don't understand, how energy affects reality. You're in charge of reality, mother. What is your highest joy? How do you get there? Like she said, sing it to me, Joseph. You can't get there from here. You got to figure out how to get there. I mean, that's the bottom fucking line, right? And big ohm to beautiful mother. Okay, so how did we get there? So MaRhea is basically told that there's only one God. This is where the sort of one God thing comes from. There's only one God of the previous mankind. That's what they are. They're men from the previous mankind with what? Basically more energetic power, some of them, psychically, but way more technologically advanced, even in... See, once technology advances, it automatically advances your consciousness. You know what I mean? To what's possible. And there basically was only one of the old gods that was willing to help mankind, Prometheus, Lucifer, Alleluia, who in this day is being revealed through us as the person who is the heart of St. Louis, Blue Lou, who in this day is Allah, Lu, Yahweh. He wants everything to be Jah's way. He wants it to be peace, love, and light. He wants everyone to agree on one thing. No force, no fraud, and to leave each other alone from there. And not persecute each other over anything that's not force or fraud or what they choose to do in their own community. And like she said, there's always the age of consent, and anyone that would possibly skew those lines could never be involved in our community. So, like she said, how do things break down, Joseph? Morally? No. Morally? No. Vibrationally. Because like she said, are you going to judge me on my fantasy? What if my fantasy was for my pussy to touch hers? And what if I am the UFO mother? And what if I did like that? And what if freedom is the freedom to enjoy your true self at its most basic, fundamental way? She said, isn't this the pursuit of freedom? She once told me, she said, you know why I like America? Because every time you're pursuing the orgasm, you're pursuing happiness. She said, I like that pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. She's like, Joe, what's real happiness? Until you're dead. Until you've died and you're like a paper cup blowing down a dirty city street. Right? I go, dude, I'm telling you, pussy for most American men. I mean, I consider myself like a normal, trying to be balanced American man. She's like, I know. Why deny it? Why Why be so secretive? Why be so hypocritical? Why be so fake? Why be so... And I went, God, family, country. What a goddamn brainwashing, right? And we're kind of tying this all together right now if you don't understand, right? Where did this come from, right? Well, check this out. This is what MaRhea Orsic told me. This is what I know. Aleister Crowley, before I was born, in the early 1890s, was doing some very powerful magical rituals because he's a very powerful magical person. But he just happens to not like us, right? He don't like those two Austrian girls. He thinks we're trash. He thinks we're pussy-eating trash, right? Because he thinks that we should be eating each other's pussy in front of him for him to enjoy. Because he's 666 the beast, and we said to him, take your fucking Kabbalah, your stupid fucking Bible, your stupid fucking hoax, and get the fuck out of here. In the long run, don't matter if Germany, Austria's outgunned 10-1. In the long run, you're gonna lose. Lucifer has promised that you lose. And that we will be won by him, with him, for him, in him, as it is. So be it. See, that's what people don't really get about the whole Shiva story. It's like my friend said, Shiva's like the hippie god. Peace, love, and light. He, struggled, but now he just dances, smokes herb, grows dreadlocks, lives with the plants, lives on the land, lives with the river. Yep, that's exactly what we're saying. We're saying Shashamani land, Ethiopia. Hail to you. Hail to King Emperor Haile Selassie Jarastafari. The man. Hey, what if you were the king of Ethiopia and you're like, hey, my nigga, I didn't have time to read the internet 5 hours a day like you did. I had starving people to take care of. How was I supposed to know this fucking fantastic myth? You're right. It seems to be working miracles on one level and then absolutely evil, cold like Saturn on another. Oh, like nature. Whoa. Maybe Haile Selassie actually knew that. Maybe that's why Haile Selassie, when he traveled to Jamaica, told them, I am not God. Nothing's God. Do you hear that? I'm not God. Jah said. I'm not God. That's my message from Lucifer. That's my message from Allah, Jah, is that Jah is not God. Nothing's God. I am not God. Nothing is God. Whatever you're calling that's beyond everything, some people just intuit it, sense it, whatever. If that's what you mean, we agree with you. That exists. But as far as metaphors and parables and poetry, I mean, where's this end up? That you're chosen and I'm not? Where's the Jungian psychology in that? But we're the son of the widower. We're the son of the widow. We're the son of the black Scorpio. We're the winter sun, right? We're the rays of silver death, accompanied by the purple light of the Zion inner earth. Like MaRhea said, Joe, I'm here to help you so you don't feel dumb after you die. Like, listen, I'm already telling you right now, quit being so dramatic, and I know you can't help it. Because once you die, everything is so absolutely solved, and you come back to your wits. You're like, God, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Right? And Am I talking about being embarrassed at crying because children are being burnt by bombs? No. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that I wish I could, like she said, it's stop doing it. She has to tell me, stop doing it. It's like wishing you were someone else. It's like, I wish I wasn't so sin. And like MaRhea says, I know you're wishing you weren't Virgo rising. But nigga, you is. And that's as it is, so be it, let it be. As it was, as it were, as it is, it will be. For real. I've learned that dude, there's nothing you can do about it. I tell people, man, dude, seriously, I really want you to come here with me. No matter how, I gotta go to work in a little while, but no matter how long it tells me to take, I really want people to relate to this. I did the same job, 6 days a week. Let me light this. And MaRhea, I just want people fucking to get this story, man. To me, this is wild fucking shit. This is the shit that changed my life. I'm like a year into do these rituals. So I probably did 50 rituals. I think I missed 2 weeks or something. And every day, man, because I was a Christian till like 2 years before this, every day I'm listening to everything I can, I listen to everything Michael Tsarian ever wrote. I listen to all his books. I'm loading up on, Manly Stupid Hall. And I listen to several. Alice Bailey, Big Giant Blavatsky. MaRhea actually herself had me listen to, Fat Needle in the Arm, Crowley's Book of the Law. You can take your fucking Book of the Law and fuck you and your stupid fucking magic. Fuck off. And the whole hoax of, burn this book, so you have to buy another one. Like she said, I would never talk this way 13 years ago. But like the gates are down, the fence is down. It is post-genocide. What the fuck are we doing? And what do we see? Let me put it this way. Let's cut to the chase. What do we see? A clown circus. It's part of the church of the subgenius. It's like the church of the clown. It's like the church of it. And what I was getting at, it was almost, man, there's like some strange powers in the room, let me tell you. Because they don't want me to say this. Something doesn't want me. But this is real, man. Almost like my own mind don't want to, it's almost like telling someone you're crazy. But, hey, hand on MaRhea's heart, this, hand on her pussy, that this is the truth. She told me one ritual. She's like, I swear to the gods, I drank 5 grams of mushrooms. I showed up the Missouri River goddess, dressed like a Greek goddess, but all her hair was out. Maybe it was like a ponytail on top and kind of out in the back, and just, she was so beautiful, like a white sort of goddess dress. And she wants me to say, what I thought of her tits. As a joke. Because she don't have much. And I say, that's perfect. You're perfect. You're not supposed to have much there. Because you're tiny. But anyway. And she says to me, like I said, there is some strange powers really in the room, like making me, whoa. Okay. This really happened. Like I said, MaRhea was like, stop. One ritual, she literally said, like I said, with her hand on her pussy, she said to me, what have you been reading, listening to this week at work? This was right after she said to me, you're my son. I'm not fucking around, but you're really my son, and we can communicate during the day. It's not just, our connection is different. It's like a real mother to child, a real one, like an astral mother to child, right? And she's like, we can communicate during the day, right? And she's like I said, she said, listen to this. Either this is goddamn supernatural or it's not. She's like, stop. That is not knowledge. What you need is experiential data, not book data, right? Do you hear me? In her little thing where she said, how do you like my tits? Because she didn't have a bra on and a white sort of tight dress. She said, you don't need book knowledge data, you need experiential data. And she said to me, I want you to stop. I told the story before when we get to the hawk, right? She said, I want you to stop listening to all that occult knowledge, whole new age occult knowledge, alternative new age sector of everything. She's like, you know what? She looked at me, and she's only 5'2". I'm 6 foot tall. She looked at me and she said, hey, listen, let me give you a little recommendation. With telepathically, I was in another world, it's like a dreaming. Telepathically, she said to me, hey, your author is Stephen King. And I went, Stephen King? I swear, that's exactly how I reacted. And she's like, Joe, what did I just tell you? I'm trying to do something supernatural here. What I got to get to is, so everything, I swear to the gods, man, there's a very racial thing in Stephen King's The Dark Tower. My daughter, had two biracial, mixed race children. It's all coinciding totally. I seen the birth of this child far before she was ever conceived. I seen her at 5 years old, before she ever was born. It was exactly her. I can see it still in my eye, exactly. And she said to me, do you believe... Okay, in the Stephen King books, I think it's the first or second one. It's a story about... I guess it's about his best friend, but also about this hawk called David the Hawk. He gets this hawk that becomes his... I think his best friend is, killed. And so this hawk becomes his, best friend because his friend is gone. I think that's the story. The point is, Roland, the gunslinger, he becomes psychically connected to this hawk. And I'm not making up shit, man. I was trying to tell people, dude, I am simultaneously outside 6 days a week, and I'm having an experience in my neighborhood where I deliver with this fucking hawk, just like the book. Matter of fact, the book, like any book, it kind of changes from relationship to relationship. So it's like him and this girl he loves, but also how he goes off alone with the hawk, and how him and the hawk communicate, and he lets the hawk fly around, and the hawk comes back to him, and they go home. It's literally his pet. And I'm having this experience after, like I was pulling up to this one little place and eating lunch, every day. As I'm listening to the story, right, and there's 5 different stories going on at once. It switches to the story about the hawk, and I start thinking about all the shit that's happened with the hawk. And it literally flies in front of my parked vehicle, right at the windshield, right by me. Flies right over the truck. I'm not exaggerating. And lands in this tree, perfectly in line with my sight, really close. And me and it just start psychically talking. And he's like, reality is an illusion. Hawks can switch body with people. I'm your friend from back home. And it's just possible if you can hear me, Joe. He said to me, I believe your chakras are open. And I'm like, this is crazy, dude. I mean, motherfuckers think I'm so crazy. Motherfuckers talking to hawks now. People don't believe me. I think I've told this story before. Pardon me if I have. But I don't know. Somewhere I read, or maybe it just came to my mind, but I'm pretty sure I read this somewhere. So I was like, hey, hawk, goddamn, you're in this world with me. If I'm not crazy, leave me one of your feathers somehow. And I'm not kidding, a couple of days later, I go around. I have a last box. I have a neighborhood that's not at all really rural or anything. It's kind of a normal neighborhood, normal space between houses and shit. What's crazy is I literally had one business, and it was away from everything else. And you would think this is the last place you'd find the hawk feather. And I pull up this, I'm not saying it's the next day, but it might have been. But the next day or two, I would do some Saturday nights, or maybe Monday or Tuesday, and it was perfectly in my line of sight. I pull up to this very last box. That's a business in a parking lot. And in the parking lot is sitting a beautiful hawk feather right in my line of sight. I'm like, all right, that's supposed to be a coincidence? And so I do the ritual. I tell MaRhea, and she's like, Joe, that's nothing I haven't been teaching you. She's joking around with me, come on, you don't believe me when I tell you, we can switch bodies. It's the most magic thing we can do. We can do it. She would always tell me and you do it. We really do, Joe. We do it. We switch bodies. And no bullshit. I'm being told all this. I'm looking at this hawk and having this psychic conversation with him. I'm telling MaRhea about the shit in the book and the ritual and shit. I'm in the reality with the hawk really interacting with me. And in my ritual, the Saturday before this happened, in my ritual, like a woman's voice that wasn't MaRhea. Like MaRhea made me know, like that wasn't me. And this may really be my own feminine energy, which people talk about. But it said to me, I am fate and I am destiny. My name is destiny. Like, I am a woman. I'm the woman you're destined to meet. And I was like, huh? I mean, I wasn't very experienced with all this at the time. I told MaRhea about it, and she says, this is what she said. I know destiny, believe me. And like she said, Joe, don't get confused. It's either personal, it's real, or it's just symbolic. Either one or the other. Either you can manifest it and the myth comes true in your life, or it just goddamn fucking doesn't. I was like, no, exactly, I get it. I do get it. I hope you get it, listener. Either you're living the dream or you're living the myth. What myth, Joseph? The myth of your age. What's that? Nos. N-O-S. The Book of Resurrection by Miguel Serrano, which is a book that teaches you how to resurrect your eternal true love in your own soul so that you can be the complete Hegel star, the six-pointed star, the complete man or woman. And that's the real truth. So I have this voice say this, right? And she says to me, I'm going to prove it to you. So like I said, I'm already having all this shit with this hawk. So one day, bright sunny springtime day, this must have been 2013, spring of 2013, and I come around the corner and I see, like, it looked like, I don't even know why I noticed. I mean, I just noticed simultaneously, I guess. This hawk, that I've been seeing every day. I mean, I couldn't even tell people how, dude, I've been seeing this fucking hawk is, like, seriously interacting with me every day. And I never seen it, like eat like this. So dude, this is how crazy I am. I see it fly down. It was like almost like a dramatic thing, and it was right in the sunlight. So I turn, dude. I turn and I go up by the hawk. And I'm literally, and it's in the street, like eating a dead something or another. I don't even want to look at what it's doing. It's like MaRhea said, goddess of death. And I literally turn around so I'm not fucking with it. And man, its eyes actually fucking meet. I swear, man, no one would believe me. If I fucking told people the truth, they'd be like, but what's crazy is that this data I'm going to give you proves we're in a technological holographic simulation. That's what it proves, right? So I'm driving up there, and for some odd reason, it's a pretty busy street. No cars around at all, and it's a pretty wide. It's like the street is wide enough for people also to park their cars in front of their houses. So it's a kind of a rather wide street, and I'm just like tripping off this whole scene of this hawk looking at me while it's like ripping apart this animal. And it strangely, feeling like the sun was bright, sunny, shiny, perfect day. It was like this horrible sort of scene with this like feeling, of like like it just like one of those meditation videos, where like you have to calm down when you hear it. It's like, I'm not kidding. It just like rang through my fucking body. And I was tripping, so I turned around before I got to the hawk. And while I was turning around, me and the hawk fucking eyes met. And I fucking literally, I swear to the fucking gods, in reality, heard the hawk voice say to me, "Do you understand what this means?" And I was like, "No." Hawk eating dead animal. No, I don't. And so this is while I'm turning around. I'm turning around in the street, to go back because I had like veered off to look at this hawk that flew down. It caught my eye, It was like I could turn right, and that's where the hawk was. And it was like 20 yards up, I seen it fly down. So when I was approaching that like little intersection, I was like, fuck it, man. I've been seeing so much with this fucking hawk. I'm just going to drive up there and see. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you people the fucking truth. This happened to me. See what is happening here. I am not kidding you. It wasn't the next day. So I turn around and I go back to delivering the mail. It wasn't the next day. It was the day after that. The next day it was like cloudy and rainy. And all day I'm thinking about people would lock me in a mental institution. They told me, if I told them I was communicating with hawks and shit and Indians from the fucking Native American and Indians that lived here thousands of years ago and shit, and swear on the heart, on the pussy of MaRhea Orsic. Like, I believe it was not the next day. Like I said, the next day after that was dark and cloudy, and all day I just thought about what happened. I never seen the hawk. I was seeing it on a goddamn daily basis. I was seeing it so much that one time when I came back to the office, it was sitting, I swear to the fucking gods, it was sitting in my parking place. And my friend was like, I've never seen this. Because I'm trying to park my truck, and there literally is a hawk standing in my parking place. And he literally ran at it like shoot it away. It was directly sitting in my parking place, which was I would say at least 3 miles away or 2 miles away from the neighborhood where I was seeing him all the time. And I swear, like I said, 2 days later, it was like a repeat of the hawk day, where it's a perfect sun-shining day. And again, I'm out there, I'm thinking, damn, where's that fucking hawk? What the fuck does all this mean? What the hell's happening to me? How can shit be this magic? How can the Missouri River goddess be this magical of a person? I didn't have no idea she was MaRhea Orsic. And, no bullshit. It smelled like the same day. Because it was just the day before, yesterday. The day before yesterday. That's maybe I should call this, right? The day before yesterday. Okay. Without dragging it on and being dramatic, I'm not kidding you. I turned this corner, and somehow it was like turning a corner in reality, or in memory, or in whatever. I don't even know how to describe it. But I said to myself, oh my God, it's like a deja vu, because the scene, when I just looked to my right, I said, oh my God, I've seen this before. And then I seen the hawk flying out of the sky. And I rubbed my eyes and I went, I must be dreaming. I go, that's just like the day before yesterday. And I seen it go down to like the roadkill in the middle of the road. And I said to myself, dude, this is fucking too weird. What the fuck? I go, this is the exact spot where it happened the day before yesterday. What the fuck is happening? I'm going, dude, what is happening? Am I dreaming? I started like pinching my face and going, hold it. Chance, time plus space and chance like that. No, this ain't happening for real. Because it was exactly as I remembered it the day before yesterday. And I'm like freaking out. And I go, hold it, I'm not dressed the same at least. I go, it can't be. I mean, I guess I'm not dreaming because I'm, or maybe I'm, and I see it and I go, I said to myself, this is where I decided to veer off the route and go look at the hawk eating the roadkill, and no one was around and no cars were. And I go, and I just do it. And I was like almost saying to myself, there's no reason for me to do it again. And I just do it. And there I am. I'm driving exactly, I swear to the fucking gods on the pussy of MaRhea Orsic, that I swear to the gods. It was like I was in a video game, like I couldn't control it. I was doing and thinking and saying exactly what had happened the day before yesterday. And I'm just completely flipped. And so this is like, I believe that really was like Friday. And I do, just to complete it, I do everything. I turn around in the street, me and the hawk's eyes meet. She says to me, I am fate and destiny. Actually, I'm a woman. My name is Destiny. You're going to meet me. Guaranteed. And I felt like that was like the death card of the tarot. Like what she means is, motherfucker, I ain't playing around. Every nigga dies. You're going to die. You're going to meet me. I am that woman. I'm that woman. Destiny's my name. Fate and destiny is my name. Okay? And so I believe that the next day was just kind of a normal day. I may have seen the hawk like flying around. But the next day after that, I am getting ready to do my ritual. And all I've thought about for 2 or 3 days, well, actually it would be technically 2 days, is all my only thought for 2 days was how the motherfuck can reality repeat exactly? How the fuck can a hawk know to come at the exact time of the day, which wasn't the exact time of the day? It just happened to be the exact time I came around the exact corner of the day. And the hawk was like, see, it's connected to you. I'm following you. And I'm going, so I drink my mushrooms. I see MaRhea, and I just looked at her eyes and I went, the hawk. She said, believe me, my son, I'm prepared. And I seen the whole thing happen. And it was like MaRhea, I mean, not like, she was standing right next to me. It was like me and her standing next to her in another world. She had me close my eyes, and I basically relived the whole thing. And the second time I seen it, I was freaking out 10 times more. I'm going, dude, am I a robot in a goddamn video game? How the fuck was I conscious and I accidentally, completely, totally repeated 2 odd, unordinary things on accident? Actually, I was trying not to repeat it. In my mind, I was going, what am I doing? I don't work by I'm not paid by the hour. Actually, it's not that. I'm not paid by the hour. I got time to be driving around looking at hawks and shit. I swear to the fucking gods, that's what happened. And so I did anyway, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? What's reality? And the hawk is the one that told me, reality is an illusion. I am somebody switching bodies with the hawk. My name's Destiny. I'm a woman you're going to meet in real life. And I'm like, dude, they're going to fucking lock me up in a mental institution. So I turned around to MaRhea. I go, what the hell is fate and destiny? And she looked right at me and she said, Joe, look at me in the eye. And she said, she is a woman. It's an archetypal myth. Like, you don't even know what's happening to you. And it's happening. And this is no lie, just to kind of add to all that, because that's kind of where it ended. It's no like 8 later. One time I was really concentrated on the hawk and saying like, hawk, where you been? Like, what's it all mean, kind of thing. I swear to God, in front of me, I don't even know why my eyes looked, but my eyes did look, and I watched a hawk fly out of the sky and grab a little bird, in its claws. And my first instinct was to be like, aw, for the little bird, right? And I was trying to look like where the hawk went, And about 5 minutes later, I pull up to someone's house and like right perfect. This is how smart these gods are and shit. Right in my line of sight, right where I had to walk. I am not kidding you. I am not lying. Right as I was stepping out of the truck, the hawk flew down with the same bird in its claws, landed in the driveway where I was getting out to go to that house. And my eyes met, I guess I should say one eye, of the hawk. And we telepathically, I just heard in my mind, it's almost like a young man's voice. I can't describe it, but it was the voice of the hawk. And he said, listen, Joe, stop being afraid. I have your enemies in my claws like I have this little bird right now in reality. They're just, metaphorically, food for me. Nothing more. Joe, they can't harm you. You're under no threat as far as that. No one's... And you know what's cool? Is that was 2013, like I said. And for real, there's a lot of that's happened, including, I just want to say, twice I walked outside of my house and something was hovering over my house about 4 or 5 feet above my house. And it was very small. Yeah. It had no propellers. It wasn't no normal drone. Let me tell you. Nigga, let me tell you. And I swear to God, it like psychically made me look at it. It was like something made me look over the house at it. I don't ever walk out of my house in the middle of the night and look directly above the house, in the center of the roof. It was like something made me look, and when I looked, it was like a little light went off on this thing. It must have been just no bigger than like a hockey puck. You know what I mean? Or like a baseball, or something that small, but it like flashed a little light, or even smaller than a baseball, And like it gave me a terrible feeling seeing it, and like it responded my feeling by just zipping off so fast through my neighbor's tree. And it would like I like got a message from it, like that's how high tech it is. That it's got all of reality, like fucking MapQuest, or Google mapped out, and it went through that tree because it was AI, and it went through those branches and shit as this little machine, and fucking whatever we want to call reality, right? And it left me a message of like, we're gonna make you sick. And no bullshit. About a month or so later, I seen the exact same thing happen again. I seen it again, and it shot through the tree again. As far as I know, that's the last time I looked at it over my house. Even though that happened, I don't run outside and look over my house because dude, what the fuck am I gonna do? What is it? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So listen, right? How could reality repeat itself? Like, you understand my position with the hawk thing happening twice? Like, how did that happen? First of all, it was going off my route, is a weird thing. I did it twice with the hawk flying down. What's crazy? I went and turned around, looked at the hawk, and heard the same thing in my mind twice in reality. Not in a dream. In reality, the second time I'm pulling away, I'm pinching my face going, nigga, they're going to lock you away. If you told someone, I know there's lots of people that communicate with lots of things and shit, but on one professional level, you tell people you talk to hawks and you talk to trees and shit, and they're going to be like, dude, you're fucking nuts. They're going to be like, we make money. What are we trying to say? What we're trying to say is that we're in this moment, we're blowing you the real blissing, the real blissing of DESTINY. And the never-ending expanding. What is the expanding? What do we have? Why is there any reason to have hope? Is there any hope? Is there any hope for today? What should I say? Right? check this out. I mean, I know this sounds Scorpio. I'm not going to even say it sounds bad. It's not bad. It sounds very Scorpio. It begins to get better if you basically listen to and, adhere to what we're saying and experience it. It becomes really you will begin to see that fate and destiny exist as people to you personally, right? And that's what we call Amor, love without death. Right? And that the story is continual. And that it didn't just begin. The fate of one cycle isn't the destiny of another. The expanding universe is our hope within you. Within you is a true expanding universe. And that gives me hope. Within, like the people like MaRhea that I love the most, is a everlasting joy, an expanding joy. Because fate and destiny aren't prison sentences. It's not two crimes. And the hawk of fate and destiny said to me, Joseph, I am the ark. The ark. The vessel. Right? And this is part of the expanding you. The progression, the evolution of belief is the true evolution, right? You are what you believe. You gotta decide, what does believe mean, for one thing? Or even decide, do I want to use that word? Well, on Venus, we use that word. And we use that word. And like MaRhea said, it may be in a double ironic way, but it's very true. It's very true that you are what you believe. Like she said, Joe, what do you find truly attractive? And I said, what you are. And she said, what am I? I go, oh my God. You are projecting a personality. And she said, what am I about? And I said, you're about what you believe. What is real to you? Like she said, what does believe mean? It means subjective to me. What I think is real. Experientially to me, which I would never enforce on you. You know what I mean? Like, we can't use our experience as a standard to be like, hey, those people aren't this or that, because you know why? Is that immoral? We don't really care. It's a waste of time, is what it is. It's immoral because it's a waste of time. Completely stop comparing yourself to anything, everything, everywhere. Who cares if you care more? Who cares if you do more? The only thing that really, really matters is if you're acting out of true instinct, out of your own joy. You know, and I mean, I see the good in a lot of people who are like, I'm sick of what Israel is doing to Palestine. It's just out of the good of the heart that it doesn't make them happy to see people treated this way. And you just have to magnify that by a 10 million. Magnify that by 2 million. That at the very microscopic level, you're doing what makes you happy. And if you're not, that's what's obviously making you unhappy. Right? And how did we come to get this, right? From MaRhea Orsic. You remember me talking about the two girls in the apartment, 22 years old and 20 years old. And they have been doing this for a good 8 years together. And she was like, you know what happened, Joseph? Me and Siggy developed a relationship with our big-dicked husband, Lucifer. And she's like, that's why we didn't need a man. Not because we were lesbians. Whatever that's supposed to mean. I know she would say that. As she is sitting here, right now. Lovely, lovely MaRhea. Miss MaRhea. From St. Lucifer, Atlantis. Right, that's what MaRhea says, why I did this is because, like she said, as far as I'm concerned, millions of years ago, she's been doing this a long, long time, like doing this in the Matrix, where are we? We're in the holographic technological world. It doesn't end because it doesn't need to be plugged in and shit. It's solar, and it's also connected to the greatest god of the small man, Lucifer, the light bringer. No matter what you say, no matter how Jewish you want to get about it, blah, 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 blah. What's really you? Tell me. I'm interested. I listen to my friends that tell me they have encounters with people too. I'm just telling you mine, and you might be, well, it's funny how you end up being, important in yours. Well, it's funny how you're not important in yours. Like, why wouldn't you be? Aren't you eternal? Right? Aren't you? Like, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow it's become normal to me that this is the real reality is standing right behind the mirror. What's real? Let's say it that way. What's real is manifesting behind the mirror of a backwards. It's not just a false illusion, but it's mirrored in that it's all backwards. As a test of like, hey, check this out. Good is evil. Evil is good. Right? And MaRhea, literally, like she said, from 1922 on, 1917 beginning, but 1922 after receiving the instructions for our UFO, she said we were doing high level, sex magic energy against all the occult powers that were building armies against Germany and Austria, and we didn't know how much land and resources they wanted to take from us. No one knew. We were all paranoid. When guns are pointed at you. She said, this is the story, you take it or leave it, make up shit, create mental creations. But in the end, we will see that the ancient ancestors went out and okay, check this out. So, just to end with, what transpired was a literal plan. Manifest by, like she said, you really want to know? Me and Sig would meet on an astral world while licking each other's pussies. And we would say to each other, where should this energy be directed? We know what we're doing. We're calm under pleasure. And she said, we would release this energy. She said it became like a waterfall, like a river, like nature. She was like, still, I'm telling you, people, you don't know what it's... There's other levels of trees, rivers, and shit. It's like the physical is like 5% or something, but to hook into these other levels is the real. Because why? There's only one reason why. Because you're living in a hologram. You're dreaming. I took me years. I told somebody at my work. I know it sounds crazy. I said, MaRhea told me to tell people this. Maybe we'll end on this, and we can continue on with all of this. But let's end on this on a girl, a beautiful woman, Deanna, that I used to work with. MaRhea told me, listen, tell that real woman of ours that this is the premise for gaining knowledge. Never, ever put your opinion before the facts. And what is that? That's a way of saying, what are the facts? Where are you? When are you? How are you? Where are you? And how do these myths work? What is the myth of your time? What is the myth of our time? And what is fate and destiny, right? So just to get it clear, for people who are like, how do you prove this? Well, it really, if you listen to my story, like you're just saying I'm a liar. But I swear to the gods, I listened to every single book of the Dark Tower. I think as I was finishing, the last book was coming out, I believe, and I swear to the gods, for like 7 months, MaRhea would say things to me, and sometimes I'd be like, why did you say it like that? And it would come exactly true in my life, in reality. And people would be like, that's because you're creative, you're making up shit. That's your version. I'm trying to tell you for real, I'm not. And I'm not kidding you. Like, I have, it went on for so long. I could go through the books and tell people, like, oh, this ritual coincided. Like, some of it's very personal about me and my wife that I live with. And, it's like nothing extraordinary. And, of course, it would probably bore people. It's not, it's a good example of how things work out, but it's sort of like not really anybody's business, besides the principles. And we teach the principles, me, you, and everyone, born basically all over the world at this point. You don't have to believe in a religion or anything. You're born into a vibration that's very powerful, and it makes some people very sick. Other people who are able to bear the collective and have a sort of, more earthy, Capricorny, Virgo-ish vibe can, Taurus, they have a lot more patience. And they can bear it a little better for others, for everyone. So we're just trying to say we understand the difference. There's no standardized person, right? But there's definitely a healing, for everyone experiencing these otherworldly headaches. I speak forth a vril magic release against those words. It's a battle of words. And just simply, by the energy in MaRhea's name, we cancel those words, the word spells against whoever is listening to this that it applies to. Every single person, it's just an energy that, listen, if we don't agree that invading someone's mind any way, shape, or form is fraud and force at the same time, then we're not getting anywhere, right? But listen, MaRhea says to her children, "My love, I am love without death."
Guiding those who seek the